Okay.
Hey everyone, how you doing? Hope you're having a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening, whenever you're watching this. We are on the clock. We've got 20 minutes. Okay, you've probably seen Sam, you've probably seen Sarah. I'm Paul. If you don't know who any of us are, you're probably in the wrong group, so you might want to check. But we wanted to do a really quick off-the-cuff training for you to try and help you in terms of going to bring up the business opportunity to people. The plan with this is it's going to be generic. However, you might hear us talk about Exodus, you might hear us talk about EDW. If you do, it's just because that's what we're in and it's just relative to what we do, but it is a generic training, I promise you. You don't have to be in those businesses. Although if you're watching this, you're in one of them because it's a team training. So I did a chat, a role play chat, if you like, with one of my team, and he allowed us to put that in the group. The problem with doing that is, one, it's not a real situation, okay? Two, I'm trying to show techniques that might be spread out over a few days or a few conversations. And you kind of have to play it by ear. So who wants to go first? When should you bring up your opportunity?
I don't bring up unless somebody has mentioned it to me.
Awesome.
If I'm having a chat with somebody, the conversation could go over a few days, but I will talk about lifestyle, I will talk about hobbies, I will talk about family, I will just talk about stuff that I've seen on their timeline. And eventually, you can't help it, but people do say, so what is it you do? And they will ask because it's that next follow-on question, but I never turn around and say, oh, this is what I do for a living, unless they ask me. And I think you have to wait to be asked because it happens. It just comes anyway, naturally.
So let me just confirm something there then, Sarah. You are a stay-at-home mum with two small kids that demand a lot of your time. Your husband's self-employed, he's busy, you help him with all his books and all his paperwork and his quotes and stuff like that. You have built full-time income online, and you never introduce the business opportunity to anybody. You wait for them to ask you.
I always get people to come to me and ask me for information, and that's the trick of it. You have to get people to ask you. You have to be appealing enough that people want to know more, not shove it down their throat. You don't need to shove it down their throat if you do it properly.
Curiosity is your best friend as a marketer,
Definitely.
as I've said many times. So I just wanted to clarify that, because I know some people now that you've just blown a lot of people's minds.
I mean, I'm not saying I don't post advertising business type posts on Facebook, because I do, but people then come to me if they're interested, so I'm not saying that I don't, advertise my business, because I do, but the trick is to get people to ask you for information, because then they're coming to you, they have requested the information, you have not gone and shoved the information in their faces.
So are you saying that the chats that you do, and do you try and connect with people every day and have chats with people every day, or is that weekly? Or?
You have to keep it fresh. You have to keep talking to new people, because, you can only have chats with people for so long before you start to realise that they are never going to be interested in what you do. And actually all they care about is trying to, flirt with you, or trying to, be a good friend to them from overseas or something. And as soon as you start to get those signs, you just think, this is not really working for me. Let's move on and build a relationship.
Nobody ever flirts with me, so I'm heartbroken.
Oh.
But basically, you're having the conversations, and the point of your conversations isn't to bring up and pitch your business then. You're having the conversations so they will ask you what you do.
Yeah, and basically if you've got a solution to that, you try and find out what their pain is, what their problems are, and then if you've got a solution that, you're working on at the moment, then you can maybe say, well, I might be able to help you with that if you're interested, but never turn around and say, oh, would you want to look at my business link? It's just not done, it's rude.
Love it. What about you, Sam? When do you bring up your business?
Very similar to Sarah, actually. I wait for them to ask me generally. There's only one exception to that. That is when I know somebody really, really well. We've spoken on many, many, many occasions before. We've built a relationship, and I want to tell them about something that's just happening now. I might say, oh gosh, you might want to look at this. But otherwise, when it's kind of getting to know people, it's the same as Sarah. I just get chatting about life in general. Eventually, I'll ask them what they do. I ask them lots of questions about themselves. Give them some compliments. Say, oh, I really loved your post about this. I really liked your comment on that post. What is it you do? How long have you been doing that? How's it going? ask them loads and loads of questions about themselves, and eventually they will ask me what I do. Or sometimes I might say something like, if I ask them how it's going, they're saying, well, you know, they tell me about a problem they're having. I use the feel, felt, found thing and say, yeah, I know how you feel. I felt like that, but I found that since I've been doing what I'm doing now, I've kind of learned this, that, or the other. And then they'll say, well, what's that then? So again, waiting for them to ask. There are ways you can lead people to ask you the question, what are you doing? But in a nice, natural way. You're building up a friendship, basically, a relationship, so that they know you, they trust you, you get some rapport going, and then, you know, you just find out about each other.
Awesome, fantastic. I want bring something up. You both mentioned looking at their timeline, and when I did that role play chat, I kept referring to the guy's timeline and things that he'd said and about us section, and Sarah said, oh God, it felt like you were stalking him. But that was because I was trying to convey the fact in a role play in a short amount of time that you want to go and look at somebody's timeline. So let me give you an insight into the human brain. Okay, and I was saying earlier, I have to realise I am actually qualified in NLP, guys. So I am actually qualified to tell you this. So you have to listen to me, right? I spent money for you to have to listen to me. But basically, predominantly, we all like to talk about ourselves. Okay, it's just facts. It's just the way it is. Predominantly, we like to talk about ourselves. And because of that, it's not very often you've got somebody that's going to listen to you, okay? Especially about boring stuff like online businesses, and, you know, how things are going and how's your day been, okay? So one of the tricks that I found is to get people to talk and be the one who's flexible and willing to go, do you know what, I'm going to listen to them. And I will let them talk to me. But to be able to get them to talk about them, you want to look at their timeline and not stalk them and go, oh, how old are your kids? And I see you went to the park last week at 3 o'clock, and I know it was that because I see the newspaper that you were holding, and I could tell it was the second. And all that.
It's scary.
Yeah, that's a bit far. That's a bit far. But how do you guys use somebody's timeline to start a conversation or during a conversation? What about you, Sarah? What do you do?
I tend to look for things that maybe I've got a common interest with them. So say they've got,
you do that.
yeah, you've got a spaceship landing in your garden, I think.
Yeah.
I look for things that I've maybe got a common interest with them first, because then I've got something to really chat about. So if they've got young children, you can tell that because everybody with young children posts pictures of them. It's just one of those things that we do with young children. Everything they do, if they stand, walk, sit, or anything, you post a picture of it. So I look for people that have got young children, and I can sort of say, you know, oh, I noticed that you've got a family too. How old are your children? You know, oh, they started school. Oh, my boys started school as well. Oh my God, it's a nightmare, isn't it? Did you find this? You know, and I find things that I can talk about with them. You know, I don't go and pitch like a business guy that's into like high tech, you know, internet stuff. Because I've got nothing to say to a guy like that. I wouldn't go on and say, oh, I see you're into internet marketing, or no, not internet marketing, but, you know, technical stuff. Oh, did you get this new processor? Because I'm just talking out of my butt, really. I don't know what I'm talking about, and it comes across as so unnatural. So I tend to try and find people that I can relate to and I can have a natural chat with. And, you know, that's how you build a relationship, you know. And people will come to you that are slightly different from you, have got different interests, but you do tend to find a little common interest somehow. But use the timeline to find maybe a common interest to have a chat about.
Awesome. What about you, Sam?
Yeah, same thing. Find things in common. Something I tend to connect with people about is travelling, because I love travelling. And I love to find out where they've been, and, you know, if they post a picture of somewhere they've been, I really like to comment on that, talk about that. Oh, I'd love to go there, or where have you been, or I've been, you know, it's a great thing to talk about. Children, again, you know, it's obvious, as Sarah says, they've got children or pets. Love talking about pets, especially cats. Music, I'm a massive music fan, as you know. I'm a big David Bowie.
Well, David Bowie and
yeah, he's all right. So, you know, if somebody is clearly a music fan, I zone straight in on that because I love to talk to people about all sorts of different types of music and art and books. There's just something everybody has got that you can connect with and talk about. But as Sarah showed, then it's got to be genuine. I'm genuinely interested in those things. I'm not pretending to like crocheting or shooting or, you know, because obviously, as you know, I'm, you know, well, you know all about me and my hippie pacifist ways. So I'm not going to connect with somebody who is into killing things, for instance. So, yeah, there's always something to talk about, you know, that you can connect with. So just like and comment and share 1 or 2 of their posts. And then when you do have a conversation, just say, oh, yeah, I really like that post. And you genuinely did like that post. People can spot a fake a mile off. If you pretend you're not yourself, they will know. But I'm sure you can find something to like about most people. So, you know, just talk about that.
And it just also makes you realise how important your own personal Facebook timeline is, because people want to get to know you, and they, you know, they make that decision within seconds by looking at your timeline. So don't post political stuff. Don't post stuff that's going to offend somebody in some way. Don't post, you know, religious stuff. Just keep it nice and natural, and just post stuff that you genuinely like, and then you'll attract people that genuinely like the same sort of stuff as well. So it just goes to show you that your shop window is just, you know, you have to make sure that that is a true representation of you.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, going back to the political stuff and religious stuff, I don't necessarily 100% agree there, as long as it's not offensive and you're bashing other people, because actually, you know, the American election campaign at the moment is quite topical. A lot of people are posting about that. I still want to post about things I feel strongly about because they're part of me and I need to be me. But yeah, absolutely, you don't want to be just, you know, sharing horrible pictures of animals and children being, you know, badly hurt and stuff. Just, you know, keep it as positive as you can.
Absolutely. And if you go down the political route, it's best to try and stay neutral, because if you start slagging one side off, all the people on the other side come in, and you might get some followers from the other side, but how can you not comment on Donald Trump? Come on. So,
anyway, as you saw, I put on my timeline earlier, I'm voting for Robert Hollis for president anyway.
Yeah, so we all are.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, we all are.
So, you've both mentioned timelines. Okay, so it's a nice segue into something I want to make clear. I don't know how clear that is, but on one side I've got chat. So that's when you're having your chats with people. Okay, and then on the other side I've got timeline. So that's your Facebook timeline. Now I've written the word engagement in the middle, and I wish I could reach it in to people's heads and make them realise how so important engagement is. Okay, so got a different pen. So when I'm doing my chats, they're to build rapport. Okay, and know, can't spell now, know, like, and trust. And then my timeline is where I put the business stuff, but it's only about 20% probably of what I'm doing. And my big thing is curiosity. Want to know how I made $5,870 in 12 days? Just ask me, and I'll happily share that sort of post. Okay, when I've got rapport and know, like, and trust, and chatting to people, and I've not brought it up, that's why Sarah started it. They will definitely come to you when they see it on your timeline, if they're interested. But not everybody's going to be interested. The best of the best recruit 3 out of 10. The best of the best. So I'm not going to recruit 3 out of 10. I might recruit 1 in 10, 2 in 10. Okay, might be 1 in 20. It is what it is. Once I know the numbers, I can work with it. But engagement is so important. Sarah, why is engagement important, and what do I mean by it? So people know.
Basically, if you want people to see your stuff that you're posting, you need to do something which is keeping your algorithms up, which means that Facebook have got something in place that if you do not interact with other people, those people will not see your stuff. So you need to go down your friends list, you need to go down your news feed and start liking, commenting, sharing, but don't just share stuff for the sake of it. Only share stuff that actually you do what actually agree with or you like. So that those people that you're, if you're interacting on their posts, Facebook will let them see your stuff. So the more you do that, the more people have got eyeballs on your timeline. So the more eyeballs on your timeline, the more chance they are to see that 20% of your biz op that's on your timeline. So it's all about just keep commenting, liking and sharing other people's stuff. Can't say how important that is. I noticed, when we did 21 Day Facebook Challenge a little while ago, it was all about, this training was all about this kind of stuff. And we were going for it. We were getting like hundreds of comments, thousands of likes. It was crazy because we were doing this so much. And, I've been doing so many other things like that. That kind of thing has dropped off a little bit for me, and I've not been going in, liking, commenting. And I've just noticed recently that my posts are not getting the engagement that they used to get. I've got exactly the same people liking, commenting and sharing because they're the only ones that seem to be stuck in my little algorithm that are seeing my stuff. So I know that I've got to kick myself up the butt and go back in and start to reconnect with all these people that have kind of disappeared. They're not disappeared, but Facebook thinks that we don't care about each other anymore because I'm not liking their stuff. So you need to keep going in, liking, commenting and sharing on loads of new people's stuff, and go out and search for new like-minded people as well.
Absolutely, yeah. I can't remember who it was, but somebody in our team gave a great tip that before you post something that you really want lots of people to see, just spend 10 minutes going down from the bottom of your, was it you? From the bottom of your friends list, work your way up and like, comment and share on one or two of their posts. Just spend 10 minutes doing that before you post that really important biz op post, and then they'll see it.
That's great.
It's all very strategic stuff. You have to be a little bit sneaky, and you have to use Facebook for your benefit. So you have to know how it works and how they show your stuff as well. So you do have to keep this up. It's
and
really
guys, important. Sarah's got to go soon and pick her kids up, but so we'll wrap it up in a second. But can you see how none of us are precious about trying to keep our tips to ourselves? Because we share them with each other and we're sharing them with you. If you can get in that mindset, guess what? You get far more.
The more you give, the more you receive.
100%.
And the new thing as well to mention that, we didn't really do when we were in the 21 Day Facebook Challenge is Facebook Lives.
Oh,
yes,
incredible.
the thing that, Facebook just builds you an audience. How they do that, I'm not sure. But I definitely have new people seeing my Facebook Lives that don't see my posts. So get out and do one every day. Just talk about any old rubbish, where you went and had your dinner last night. It doesn't matter. And then as you get more confident, you can start doing some kind of training type stuff. But it's important to do those and get your face, out there.
I'm actually helping a couple of marketers launch a Facebook Live product in November, so look out for that. It's already in the works, guys. So, okay, so let me wrap this up with something that's made me personally a lot of money, something I teach. I want to share it with you guys, okay? This is how you get your conversion rate up. Only go for people, connect with them, that are likely to what you want and you're likely to get on with. So you can go into a group, you can go and look at Robert Kiyosaki's page, you can go look at Randy Gage, you can go look at Ray Higdon's page. All of those people, guess what? They're into home-based business, okay? I can look at their timeline, I know where they live, I know how old they are, I know if they've got things I can relate to. If they're 19-year-old in the Bronx with the baseball cap the wrong way, loads of rap music everywhere, they're not a fit for me. Okay, if they're slightly overweight, balding, grew up in the 80s, fantastic, I'm in there. Okay, so there's somebody that I will go, okay, what's his name? Bob Jeffries. And I actually write it with a pen and paper. That's my choice. You can use spreadsheet, whatever. And I might comment and message on some of his posts, and I'll go and message him, hey Bob, how's it going? Love what you said about that Ray Higdon thing, from the UK, just thought I'd reach out and say hello, hope you don't mind. Who's going to object? And you've commented on something on their timeline, they can see that you've looked. Okay, somebody else, Pete Smith, okay, Samantha Charles, Sarah Cruikshank, okay, these look like people that are likely to be my kind of ideal business partner. And then guess what? Samantha Charles blows me out. No, cross her off. Sarah, I thought she was cool, but actually, she's not. One after I spoke to her. It's Bob Jeffries, we're really getting on well, you know. So he stays on the list. And I tried to get to about 100 people on my list. Now, the reason why I have it on the list is then I can go, Bob Jeffries, like, share, comment. I get engagement on his stuff. And then I know from the Facebook algorithm that Bob's going to see my stuff. Doesn't mean to say he's going to join me, but he sees my stuff. Then I go to Pete Smith and I go, do you know what? I don't remember Pete Smith. Have we spoken? Searching Facebook, Pete Smith. All your Facebook chats are there. Everything. You don't need to make notes. I might put a star by somebody that's been interested and has had the information. Okay, but I don't need to make a ton of notes. Well, they're in the Facebook chat. You can go back, because I can go back. You two, I go back about a year now. You know, and it's all still there if you keep scrolling. All the wasted hours we've spent talking dribble, but but it's all good.
That first message saying help.
Exactly. So listen, I know Sarah's got to go. So is there anything you two want to add, closing, any last thing, or are we good?
Just be consistent, keep doing it, keep posting. That's the key. Consistency, and just do what we've just said. You can't fail.
Fantastic, thank you. Anything,
Consistent daily action, as Sarah said, and also don't forget, all the training is in the group files, in the pinned post. Just go there. Honestly, there's so much great stuff there, so many videos that you'll learn so much. Make sure you watch them.
They're all there, and if you can't find it, Google, YouTube, my best friends. All right, cheers, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks ever so much for giving it your time as well for the team. I know, you know, I'll say it on behalf of everybody. I'm sure they all appreciate it. Thanks, you're awesome.